Hello, everyone. How are you? This is Dagmar, a spiritual healer and teacher and spiritual warrior, if you will. So I wanted to share some thoughts with you today that I had this morning. You know, we are living in some very challenging and difficult times, changing times, and also at the same time, very auspicious times that present us with great opportunities. So I want to share with you some observations that I made. Now, and trust me, I get the difficulty and challenges of these times because they're affecting me too. You know, I'm not exempt from, because I'm a healer or teacher, I'm not exempt from any of that. You know, I experience it as much as you do. But I have made some observations recently about, you know, what people are doing. And it's interesting because there's all these changes happening out there. And, you know, I've been watching, like many other people, you know, all this Nasara Jasara videos and all these alternative news reporting people that are out there in terms of the changes happening in the world. And some of these videos, I mean, they're getting like hundreds of thousands of views. That means a lot of people are watching them. A lot of people have perhaps awakened, you know, that's why they're watching all this stuff. But it seems to me it's about, you know, people like are glued to these videos and are waiting and hoping that these, so to speak, white hats or someone will rescue us, will come to our aid, you know, will change our lives for the better. You know, when is Jasara Nazara going to be rolled out? When is Trump coming back into office? Or, you know, all of this stuff, and people are just glued to waiting to, you know, when is this going to happen, right? And it's all about really our freedom. We all want freedom. We don't want to be enslaved by the black hats and by the cabal and all that good jazz, right? It's about our freedom. And yet, what is freedom all about? Well, freedom is about rising in vibration to a high enough point where we take responsibility for our lives. It's really all about rising out of that victim mentality, out of the thoughts that things are being done to us, and taking responsibility and charge for our own lives. And yet there's hundreds and thousands of people waiting for something to be done unto them that's going to make their life better. And at the same time, really the universe is inviting us to rise to that point where we become, or we are, the co-creators, the creators of our reality, of what we experience. It's one observation I made. The other is, then there's those people who are opting to participate in these changes on a physical level. And, you know, I see them, you know, perhaps changing how they eat, in other words, growing their food, or hoarding food because the supposed scarcity we're going to experience, or quitting their job, perhaps starting to work for themselves or wanting to work for themselves, you know, things like that, where it's all physically us making the changes in our world. Perhaps we want to care more about our environment or eat healthier. And those are all good changes, don't get me wrong. But it's not enough, because aren't we in a spiritual war? So where is the spirituality part of us physically doing things? Right? And then there are those people who are more connected to their spiritual self, who are awakened also, and they live mostly on cloud 9, where it's all about unconditional love. It's about divine timing. And they throw up their arms and things will just happen by themselves. We don't have to do anything. And, you know, isn't life about co-creation? I mean, sure, things are going to happen regardless of whether you do anything or not, but they may not happen to your liking. Where will you be left in that whole mix of things? You know, because ultimately it's your responsibility what kind of experiences you have. Just because we globally have a certain experience doesn't mean, you know, that's going to improve your life, you know, to the degree that you want it to be improved. So, you know, some are like way down on earth over here. Some are way up here in the sky. And so what I'm proposing, actually, I would like to invite you to seek out that place within yourself where heaven meets earth. Now, what do I mean by that, right? I see heaven as the spiritual aspect of ourselves, and then earth, the physical part of ourselves. And if we can combine the two and bring them together, the spiritual and the physical, in what I would consider to, what I would call spiritual, practical spirituality, where, you know, where we understand how the spiritual aspect of ourselves is influencing our reality and how we experience that, and vice versa. Now, in my 16 years of practice, of healing practice, where I've continuously worked on myself, and I also help heal others, I have learned, I have really come to understand how to make changes in the spiritual part of ourselves to get certain results in our reality, to change our reality. And I do believe that I am here probably to teach it, because I very thoroughly understand that. And so it's about putting ourselves in that position, putting yourself in that position of being able to make the changes in your spiritual self to change your reality. And it doesn't mean that we don't do physical things, okay? Or it doesn't mean that we spend all our time up here in cloud 9. No, it's about really, it's about practical spirituality. I think it's a good term for it, practical spirituality. There's not many people that are in that space of practical spirituality. But I'm here to say that, you know, if we can combine that within ourselves, that spirituality with our physical self, and then understanding of how each influences each other, we will have, when we get to that point, we will have created heaven on earth. I truly believe that. And this understanding that I have of how that all works, how the both influence each other. is the reason why I have created Healers Change the World, a free Facebook group. If you're a wisdom seeker, truth seeker, spiritual warrior, healer at heart, even if you don't have a business yet, even if you're just working on yourself right now, I invite you to join us, to join the group and start learning. If you're not already one, I really do invite you to become a wisdom seeker, truth seeker. Because while it's all great that you want to know and understand what's happening out there, it's really not about so much understanding the war between Russia and Ukraine. It's more about understanding what's happening in here. Okay? And so I invite you to join me for a 5-week series of live talks I will be hosting in the group Healers Change the World, and learn some things. And join the group. They'll be basically in the group, the lives. They'll be starting on May 17th with the very first one about the shocking truth as to why you're here. And I'm not specifically talking about necessarily your soul purpose. We all have a soul purpose. Some of you may or may not, be aware of what that exactly is. Some of you may be still discovering yourselves. But we're all here to do very specific things at this time. And like I say, it's not about understanding the Russia and Ukraine war. It's about understanding this and here, ourselves, our spiritual selves, and connecting with it. And so I will be sharing with you the very specific things we're here to do, the shocking truth for why you're here on May 17th. So I hope you can join us for that and join our group. And I wish you a wonderful day. Namaste.